This is a Ruger P95. Do a safety check. No bullet in the chamber. Empty mag. Remove the mag. So this is a kind of staple of my collection. This was actually the first gun that I bought. I use it for my CPL class. I put the most amount of ammo downrange with this gun. This is the one that sits next to my nightstand. It was actually on my nightstand in a holster. This is my go-to. This is dependable. It's a double action, double single. My preferred carry method is round in the chamber, hammer down. So I'm able to do that with this. It's a bit big for concealed carry, but before I was able to get a really small pistol. This was my carry, and I had a nice fulbous holster for it. I really was quite happy with it. Very dependable, fairly accurate, just like Rugers in general. Inexpensive and really great quality for the price. So functions nice. It's not a bad trigger. Really nothing bad to say about it. There are better guns, but you'll pay a lot more for them than you do a Ruger. So the takedown is actually fairly easy. So there's a notch here and a line there. So you line it up and then push that out. And then you have to actually go in the inside here, and you've got to push down this lever right here. And you do that before you push that out. Okay, there you go. There's not much to it. It's pretty standard. Really easy takedown. Like I said, that little part where you have to flip down on the inside is somewhat non-intuitive, but overall, great pistol, good for the price, and I'm glad to have it in my collection. Okay, Glock 27, do a safety check. No round in the chamber, magazine removed. So as I said, Glock 27, 80% lower. This was a fun project, kind of Legos for adults. I got these Talon grips for it, rock slide upper, and got these fiber optic sights, RMR cut out, vented. So I've had a lot of fun with this, putting this together. It's a typical Glock takedown, very easy. So an interesting story about this was that I originally had bought a OEM Glock upper. I bought it on eBay, and I ended up getting a pretty good price on it. Honestly, I offered the guy, he was asking $400. You can buy a brand new Glock for $500, so I offered him $300, and he accepted it. And the reason I wanted the OEM upper is so if there were any issues, I would know that it was 100% because of the 80% lower not being correct. And yeah, the ATF showed up at my house and said I was in possession of stolen government property, and I needed to surrender these gun parts that I bought on eBay. And yeah, there was some back and forth involved with the surrendering of that gun. I wanted to make sure everything was done correctly. So in any case, they did recover their parts, and I was able to get a refund from the guy on eBay and was able to buy this aftermarket upper for it. And so it worked out well in the end. But one of the things I really like about this is the ability to change caliber. So it was originally 40 cal, and so I've got this 40 cal barrel. I actually like the way it sticks out. I think it looks cool. It shoots fine. But I also did go and get a 357 SIG barrel for it. And yeah, a whole lot of fun. And then if I want, I can just run the regular 9mm barrel. So yeah, I appreciate that adaptability. I like having multiple calibers that I can run. Ideally, I'd have all the pistol calibers that are available on the market. In case there was some kind of shortage, I would have some kind of weapon that I would have still ammo for. So that being said, this is my first Glock, and I was pleasantly surprised. I'm typically not a striker fired fan, and I found this to be very accurate, very good shooting, just an excellent pistol overall. It's a more accurate gun than the Ruger P95, and I do quite like it. I don't know that I feel the need to buy another Glock, but as it is, it's quite good, and I'm satisfied with the purchase. I think all in with all the barrels, I end up with 4 magazines, 2 of the short ones, 2 of the long ones, 2 9s and 240. So I'm able to run whatever ammo I need and have a short and long mag for each one. So it's very satisfactory to me, and it gave me a good feel for the Glock experience, and I didn't have to deal with the, I find, slightly strange Glock grip angle. So yeah, it's a great pistol. Definitely recommend going that route if you're on the fence with Glock. Do an 80% and see how you like it. So this is a Steyr 30M. It's a double single action pistol, and it is a early 90s design. Steyr was working on producing a gun for the military and police, and this is what they came up with. And it's a very accurate pistol. I would put it up against anything that SIG makes. I was astounded at how accurate it was. I love to shoot this thing. It's not a terrible price. I think I paid $600 for it, and it wasn't brand new at the time, so probably not a terribly competitive price, unless you consider the 2 factors, one being great durability and the other being the accuracy of it. So you can see that it's unloaded. I'll remove the magazine. It's a heavy pistol. It's got a big grip, so it's not for everyone. I like it. One of the interesting things about it is that the slide actually sits inside the frame. This design actually goes back to the SACM 1935A French pistol, and that pistol actually gave rise to the SIG P210. And there were some other designs that were very similar to the SIG P210 and the SACM 1935A. This being one of them, the CZ75B being another. There are other variants. There's clones of the CZ75, including the Jericho that I have. So they're very accurate designs, and I do recommend at least trying one or getting one if you can. This is a joy to shoot, so definitely recommend it. If you can get one, go ahead and get one. Anything that Steyr makes tends to be very dependable, generally inexpensive. Steyrs are great pistols and not something most people are very familiar with. So give them a try. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. All right, safety check. There's no round of the chamber. Magazine's out and empty. This is a Steyr Model B. Steyr Model B is heavily 1911 based, as you can see from the appearance. This one, they're 9mm, of course, as all of these are in this video. And this particular gun was made in 1945. So this is post-war. And it was actually the Steyr factory in Spain did end up making guns for the Germans during World War II. So this would have been, if it was a year earlier, would have been one of the Germany manufactured for a German variant. This particular one was after World War II, so it's not included in that. They're just they're solid. They're fairly inexpensive. I think this one would typically run around $500. They're about what you'd expect for a 9mm variant of a 1911. Very solid, very dependable. Same kind of takedown. They have a different trigger group than a normal 1911, and there's also no grip safety. but otherwise very similar in controls and function. Single action only, of course. And I just like having it mostly because I really like 1911s and I like the variants, 1911 variants. So this was definitely one I wanted to have in my collection. So I went ahead and grabbed it. So I've also got a Steyr B Super. The B Super was a updated version of this gun. Instead of having a link, it had a cam. Takedown was just a little flip lever instead of pushing out the pin. Very similar overall, just a more modern variant. And then I have some Steyr BMs, which are a shorter barrel variant of the B Super. So definitely a fan of Steyr's. I'll continue to buy them as they come along. If I find the right price on them. Definitely a brand to keep an eye on if you're looking for something interesting and inexpensive and reliable. You can't beat the Steyrs. Oh, and accuracy, it's about what you'd expect. They're not bad. They're not great. I wouldn't consider them to be a particularly accurate pistol, but they're reasonable for the style and the era of the gun. Safety check. There's no round in the chamber. Magazine empty and out. So you would have seen this one in a previous video where I had cleaned it up and refurbished it. This is a Jericho, IMI Jericho 941F. Normally would be double and single action, but since this was an IDF pistol, it was modified to be single action only, according to their the way they carry. So this one I haven't shot yet. I expect it to be accurate, the accuracy to be very good. They're renowned for being very accurate. Recoil is very reasonable, and I think this quite possibly one of the best looking pistols I've ever seen. I love the way it looks. Definitely the sexiest pistol I own. I really like it. I'm excited to see how it shoots. And yeah, I think it'll compare very favorably to the Steyr 30M or CZ75B. There's a reason the CZ75B is the competition shooter's starting point. And it's because they're so accurate. So definitely glad to add this one to my collection, and I'm looking forward to an opportunity to go to the range with it and confirm my expectation in terms of the accuracy of it. Heavy gun. I think it's about 2.5 pounds without any ammo in it. As you may have noticed from some of the other ones I've displayed, I like to have big, heavy guns. So that's definitely fits that requirement. So certainly find yourself amongst similar brethren. All right. Safety check. There's no round in the chamber. This is actually the magazine, so there's no rounds in the magazine. So this is a 1912 Steyr Hahn. And the Steyr Hahn stands for hammer. It's actually a nickname. This was a World War I weapon from the Austrians. And these were actually renowned for being very durable, very reliable. This particular one was made for the Romanian government, so they actually had to scrub off the Romanian marks that were on here originally. It's an unusual one in many respects, one of which is it's actually stripper clip fed. And okay, do a safety check. There's no round in there. There's no ammo in the magazine. So this is a Steyr M1912, or Steyr Hahn as it's referred to. Hahn is the German word for hammer. So this one was used in World War I by the Austrians. It was renowned for being a very durable gun, hence the hammer moniker. It's unusual in several ways, one of which is the fact that it has an internal magazine. So I'm going to open this all the way. I'm going to engage that catch. The reason I did that is the way you feed the ammo in, there's a stripper clip that feeds down in here, and you stripper clip feed it into the internal box magazine. Now, if you don't put this catch in place and you push that magazine follower down, this thing will jump closed. It's very uncomfortable. You ask me how I know. I did it. Maybe not be grand thumb uncomfortable, but it definitely left an impression on me. So takedown for this is essentially you push this pin out, right? Slide comes off. I actually won't do that because it took me an inordinate amount of time to get this thing back together the last time I took it apart. So yeah, I don't want to experience that here unless somebody here said, hey, we got to see it. I get comments. We want you to do the takedown. I'll do the takedown. But I'm not planning to do it at the moment. Interesting thing is this barrel is a rotary cam locking barrel. So when you shoot it, you get this kind of interesting thing. It's an interesting behavior. I feel like it doesn't have as much muzzle flip. Maybe it's my imagination. Now, I did say it's 9mm. I was being slightly disingenuous. It's a 9x23 Steyr, so not your 9x21 Luger that all the other guns I've shown so far have been. But it is still a 9mm. And you can still get the 9mm Steyr. I bought about 500 rounds of the Fiatchi brand. They shoot very nice. I'm very happy with this. It's a fairly accurate shooter. In all, I really do enjoy shooting this. It's probably the most unique pistol I own. I love to shoot it because of its uniqueness and the fact that it actually is still fairly accurate. Definitely, I think if you like owning kind of the oddball stuff, this would be one to have. I'd love to have a broomstick, but barring that, this is definitely one of those war pistols that's just worth having. So if you see one, don't hesitate to pick it up. You can still get ammo for it. I think this one was $700, so not a crazy price for it, especially for the historicity and the uniqueness of it. So give them a try if you see one, definitely. Okay, safety check. There's no round in the chamber. Empty magazine's out of it. Okay, this is a Radom Vis 35. This is a Polish gun. It's World War II era, and it's, as you can see, a 1911 derivative that actually, when they designed it, it has elements also of the Browning high power combined with the 1911. This is a very accurate pistol. I would wager that it's the most accurate pistol of the World War II engagement. These were in production slightly before World War II. Those particular variants of this gun are known as a Type 1. The finish of those was much nicer than what you see now. They were gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous finishes. Then after the war started, the Germans marched in, they seized control of this factory, and they commenced what's known as the Type 2. And the Type 2 looked just like the Type 1, except that now they were being made under control of the Germans. And that continued for some time. And then the way you can tell Type 2 from this is the Type 2 has, Type 1 and Type 2 have a extra lever here. And that's the takedown lever. So what they did with the Type 3 is they actually turned this into the takedown lever. So essentially, pull it back, flip it down, and then essentially you have a spur that rests on the hammer. When you've done that, you can push out the pin, right? And actually just pull on that, it'll fall right out, right? And then it comes apart. So kind of a clever use of this safety. And then typical setup here. So as I said, very accurate gun. Definitely the best, most accurate gun of World War II engagement. And Interesting history on this is that the guns were, like I said, made by Germany. And the interesting thing is if you see some of these, they will have these wooden grips. And the reason they have the wooden grips is because they ran out of plastic. And so typically they'd have this black plastic, and it would say FB on one side and Vis on the other. And this one does not, because by the very end of the war, they were out of materials that they needed to produce plastic. So they made these hardwood grips for it. This does have the Waffenmacht. So it's basically the German markings that they use for their guns. So my understanding of this is a late war variant of it. Prices on these have gone up very quickly. I think when I purchased this one, it was around $700 for a Type 3. At this point in time, I don't think that you could get one for under $1,400. I've seen them on Gunbroker for $2,000 for one similar to my condition. The thing about Type 3s is you can see that the machining is rough. They didn't spare a lot of expense for aesthetics. Functionally, they're great. Aesthetically, not so much. So then by the time they came out with Type 4, they were actually producing some parts in Poland and finishing them in Germany or Austria. I don't remember which for sure. So if you can get one, I do recommend it. I think that these are very collectible and definitely very accurate and historical. So probably one of my favorite guns of the collection for sure, and one of my favorite guns to shoot.